Hey everyone, how's it going? Recently, I spent a little bit of time at my parents' house, and during my time at my parents' house, we decided to go out to dinner, and we picked this small Korean restaurant. This particular restaurant was small and family owned, and it made really good food, except the service could be kind of iffy, so we had stopped going there for a while, but when we were trying to pick a place, we decided to give it another shot. We walk into the restaurant, and there's only like 5 other people there, so we're thinking we have a shot at having a great dining experience. Now, it certainly was an interesting dining experience. I'm not sure I would qualify it as great. The first few minutes started off relatively normal. The manager and owner came over to take our orders. That happened without issue, and we got our drinks a few minutes later. And that was about the end of everything normal at this restaurant. So, for our orders, I had ordered shrimp tempura as an appetizer to split with my mom, and we had also ordered a rice bowl type thing with beef on top. My dad had gotten the similar rice bowl type thing, but with chicken. And well, our main meals came out before the appetizer, which honestly isn't a big deal. But I was really looking forward to eating the appetizer, and I was honestly a bit worried they had forgotten about it. But they start bringing out the main meal first. I wasn't about to complain or anything. And it's the one other like waitress type person who works in the restaurant besides the owner who brings it over. And she carries it over to us and she's like, pork rice bowl. And we all just like look at each other because like I didn't really know what my dad had ordered. But I knew my mom and I had ordered beef, and we're just looking at each other like, this isn't us. So we tell that to the lady, and she's like, what did you order? And we're like, well, we ordered beef and chicken rice bowls. And she goes, oh, sorry, this is beef. I got confused. And we're like, we said yes, because we didn't really feel like arguing. And she puts it down, and my mom goes, oh wow, this is really pork-looking beef. And I was like, yeah, it really looks like pork. But we didn't really have an issue. It would have been more effort to switch it than anything. So we just keep the pork rice bowl, laugh it off, and decide to eat it. Because it tastes fine. We had just been expecting beef. My dad gets his rice bowl without issues. And shortly after we start eating the rice bowls, our shrimp tempura comes. So besides the little mix-up with the meat that comes on and the blatant lie to cover it, we thought we were going to have a fine dining experience. The pork tasted the same as the beef. It was all going to be fine. We got everything we ordered. My mom goes to take a bite out of the shrimp tempura, and the first thing she says is, this has a shell on it. And I was like, what the fuck? The thing about shrimp tempura is it's completely breaded. Yeah, you can get shrimp with shell on it, but when they're not completely breaded. My mom, first off, makes sure to check that there actually is shell and she wasn't going crazy. She peels off some of the breading. There is indeed a shell on that shrimp. I was just like, what the fuck? My dad was like, oh, maybe it was just an accident, like, let's check the other ones. So we check 2 or 3 others. My mom, by biting into it, she finds another shell. My dad peels off some breading, checks the 3rd one, and so there's shells on all of these shrimp. I was like, yo, I'm not even testing this. I really, really hate when there's like bones in my fish and shell on my shrimp. So I was like, I'm not testing this. I believe you. I will eat all the tempura and vegetables, because they're good, and just leave the shrimp to the side, tell the owner, it'll be fine. So we finish our meal without like any more issues. The food's good minus the shells on the shrimp and the fact that we ordered beef and got pork. So the food tasted good. We finished all of it, and the owner comes over to bring us the check, and she sees our shrimp left on the plate because I'd eaten every other vegetable, like anything on that plate besides the shrimp I had eaten. And she comes over and she sees the shrimp, and she comes and she like looks at it and she grabs it, and we're like, yeah, the shrimp still had shells on it. And she's like, oh yeah, I know, like when you don't keep the shell on it, they really shrink. And me and my mom and my dad were like looking at each other and we're like, well, like it's breaded. And my dad literally says that. He's like, well, it's kind of like hard to peel the shells off when it's breaded. And she goes and she like pulls our plate over to her, and no joke, she's like, well, this is how you have to do it. And she starts ripping the breading off of our shrimp, like our plate of shrimp on our table. I mean, we obviously weren't gonna eat it, but she's still like putting her bare hands into our shrimp and like peeling off the breading, and then she's like ripping the shells off the shrimp, and she's like, this is how you have to eat it. And my dad's just like looking at her, and he's like, well, now there's no breading left on it. And she's like, yeah, but like the shrimp tastes really good. Taste it, taste it. And she's like waving our like half peeled shrimp at us, and we're like, okay. See, you gotta like peel the shrimp like this, or else if you don't put it in with the shell, then it gets really small. Oh wow. But if you pull the bread off the shrimp, then you can't eat the breading. And my dad is like trying to be polite, also definitely super curious on what this tastes like. So he like grabs the shrimp from her and like takes a bite, and he's like, yeah, this is good, but still missing the breading. See, now you can eat it. Taste it, taste it. Oh, thanks, I'm full. Right, yes, I'll try one. It's good shrimp, but it doesn't have the breading. Next time, come in and ask for the shell removed before the breading. And she's like getting me to try it. My mom's like, I'm really full, and I was like, I'm really full too. Plus, I didn't want like shrimp with her hands all over it. And then she leaves, and I was like still curious, so I tried the shrimp, and like, yeah, it tasted good, but it was missing all the breading, which is the part I like. Like, I ordered tempura shrimp so I could get the breading on it, because I love that like type of breading where it's like not chicken nugget breading, but like puffy, like really good breading, and it's like a solid shell. Like, that breading is delicious. And like the moment she leaves, we burst out laughing, because we're like, what the fuck just happened? Like, she just ripped apart literally every shrimp. She didn't just do one to show us. She did every shrimp on the plate like we were gonna eat it after she had touched every single shrimp. We actually did eat some of the shrimp, but she had ripped off every shrimp and left a pile of like shrimp carcasses, shrimp shell, breading, all like disembodied on the plate, and then walked away to run our credit card. We're just chilling, finishing our meal, laughing about what happened, and this girl walks in with a guy. So the moment she walks in, the manager, who's sitting at a different table just like chatting about her daughter with some other customers, which is cute, and like one of the things I love about family-owned restaurants is like they know people in the town, so like they'll be like, oh yeah, my daughter, this daughter, yeah. So that was really cool. But at the moment this girl walks in with this guy, she shouts, is that a new boyfriend, at her, and like hardcore cringe from everybody in the restaurant. Like, how was that appropriate? And like, the girl definitely felt uncomfortable by that comment. It wasn't like she was like, ha ha ha, like they're best friends. She was just like, no, he's a friend. And it was just like the icing on the cake of this wild ride of a dining experience. The lady lies about our pork being beef, as if we can't tell the difference. The manager peels our shrimp and our breading off our shrimp at our table. And then this random guy sitting near me who had complimented my hair on the way to the bathroom, which was pinkish purple at the time, as we're walking out, he says goodbye to me, and only me. Yeah, I walked to the car just like in a stunned daze of like, what the fucking shit? Like, yeah, it's a small town, but holy fuck, what the hell was that? But in a great way. I totally would go back. Would recommend. It was both good food, minus the shells on the shrimp, and insane atmosphere. If I actually Yelped, like Yelp reviewed anything, I would 100% give this thing 5 stars for atmosphere, because it was hilarious. Though they do really need to work on getting your order right, and maybe not putting shells on breaded shrimp. Yeah, I thought I'd just share that wild ride of a dining experience with you. It wasn't really a fail on my part, or my family's part. It was just one of the craziest experiences in a restaurant that I've ever had. So, if you made it this far, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video. Give it a thumbs up if you liked it. Give it a thumbs down if you did not. And subscribe if you feel like it. Alright, yeah, that's all. Okay, goodbye.